Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with an NXT Takeover New Orleans review for April 7th. I've got tons and tons of notes, but the reason for that is because there was tons of matches. This thing went 3 hours and 10 minutes or so, which is about an hour and 10 minutes more than most takeovers. Well, a lot of takeovers have gone like a little over 2 hours, but still, it was a long show. But in my opinion, it might have been the best takeover I've ever seen. I've seen about 10 of them. And to me, there were at least 2 or 3 matches that you could arguably say were match of the night. I thought the first match of the night was actually probably the best, but there were other really, really good matches later on. I think you could make an argument for almost any match on the card, so we'll go into these soon. So, like I said, I thought the first match of the night was really good, but I'm going to go through everything here. Show opens with a live performance of the official theme song of this takeover. It's done by a band called King Hill, which are apparently local to New Orleans. I don't remember the name of the song. There's a little video package intro thing. It was fine. It was a good way to open the show. We get to the first match. The first match is the ladder match for the North American Championship. It features EC3, Killian Dane, Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, and Ricochet. I'm going to refer to my notes a lot. I apologize ahead of time because I like to try to make eye contact, but I'm going to have to read a lot. So we start the match off. The big guys kind of clear the ring and they face off with each other for a little bit. Then we get the first big move of the night, which is Ricochet, who does a springboard shooting star press onto 2 guys on the outside of the ring. Looked great. Killian Dane then does a tope on Sullivan, which is cool when you see a big guy do that. Then Sullivan throws a ladder at a bunch of guys in the ring, which is a cool move too. 3 guys power slam Sullivan off of a ladder. Cole and EC3 have a moment. I'm just skipping a lot of stuff here. This is a huge match. Cole and EC3 team up for a while, and this is kind of the more character stuff, less movie stuff. It's cool. They have this nice little alliance. They're dominating, but at one point EC3 does the Adam Cole thing where he goes, EC3, baby. I can't even do it. And Cole gets angry, so he hits EC3 with a move. And then he proceeds to hit everybody in the ring with a bunch of super kicks. So he gets his little moment to shine. Then you get a little spot for Velveteen Dream to shine where he hits a bunch of top rope elbows. And then he hits an elbow off of a pretty tall ladder. It looked cool. He hits Lars Sullivan with it. You see that there's a bit of blood in this match. A couple people got cut up. Lars Sullivan had something bleeding close to his ear. And Velveteen Dream cut himself above his eye, and I believe Ricochet might have been cut out on the arm. So it's going to happen in ladder matches, but a little bit of blood never really hurts. So then we have a spot where Killian Dane is in the corner. He's going to Vader bomb EC3, who's draped on a ladder. But then Cole jumps up and gives him a sleeper hold. But Dane still does the Vader bomb onto EC3, and that looked really cool. I should say EC3 wasn't on a ladder. He had a ladder on top of him. What else do we have? We have a moment where the big guys kind of toss Ricochet around, so it kind of shows you how bouncy he can be. Sullivan catches Killian Dane when he tries to do a crossbody, and it's pretty impressive. Slams him down. Looked cool. Ricochet does a backflip off of a ladder that's being pushed over by Cole onto 2 guys on the outside. Very impressive. He also does a shooting star press onto a ladder where EC3 is draped. And then Ricochet and Velveteen Dream build a kind of ladder bridge in the match, in the ring, excuse me. And Velveteen Dream hits his move that he sometimes uses as finisher, which is the Death Valley Driver, where he kind of does a cartwheel out of it. He does that on the ladder, which looked cool. Sullivan does a freak accident to EC3 onto Velveteen Dream, who's draped on a ladder between the ring and the announcer's table. And they all go through that ladder and it breaks. Pretty cool spot. And then they did a similar move at the other end of the ring with Killian Dane kind of jumping onto the ladder, which I forget who was draped on it, and he was also carrying someone at the time. I guess Ricochet is who he landed on, and Cole is who he was carrying. All 6 guys at one point are in the ring with 3 ladders up, and they're all fighting to get up there. Eventually, all 6 of them fall off these ladders in kind of violent ways. Sullivan's the only one who kind of survives it, we'll say. So he starts climbing the ladder on his own. It looks like he's up on his own to grab the belt. But then you see all of a sudden Ricochet kind of jumps and lands onto his back. So I guess he springboards into the ring, is my guess, because you don't really see it happen. It looked cool. They both fall off, and then Cole, the opportunistic guy, kind of sneaks in and grabs the belt. And so Cole is the new North American champion. This was a great match. Lots of fun to watch. The players in it didn't seem like necessarily great ladder match guys, but it all worked. So it's great. Then we have Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. I'm going to skip a lot of the video packages, which were repeats from the TV show. Moon comes in with her theme song played live, which is cool. I always like that. The match kind of goes a little ways. Moon hits a code breaker on Baszler pretty early on. Baszler goes for her arm break move that she did to Moon before and to Dakota Kai before, but misses. Moon reverses that and hits Baszler with that move. So then the story of the match is that Baszler's arm is in rough shape. Moon gets caught at some point. Baszler manages to kind of get Moon tied up in the top rope. And Baszler goes to a ring post, and pops her shoulder back in, or at least tries to pop her shoulder back in a couple times. It looked really cool. Moon hits her Eclipse onto Baszler, but on the outside of the ring. So it was a cool little spot. Eventually, Baszler gets Moon into her hold, and I forget what it's called, but it's essentially Cobra Clutch kind of thing. And Moon breaks out of it by kind of yanking on Baszler's arm and trying to dislocate the shoulder or hurt the shoulder that's been dislocated. Then Moon tries to get an Eclipse on Baszler, and Baszler reverses it, or catches her essentially, and puts her back into that hold. She's in the hold for a while. Moon tries to get to the ropes, but Baszler eventually kind of rolls back into the middle of the ring, keeps holding that hold, and eventually gets the win, submission win. So Baszler is actually the new women's champion. A fun match. Visually, it wasn't the most exciting match, though there were some big moves by Moon. But the story was cool, with Baszler trying to pop her shoulder back in. Kind of a callback to some past matches. I thought overall it was fine. It was exactly what it should have been. I liked it. Then we see in the back, Adam Cole is talking to some medics who are saying, like, probably shouldn't go back into the ring. He's actually scheduled to be in the tag team match. But he's a little bit hurt. We also get a quick, tiny little video of Aleister Black with some candles. Then we get the tag team match. It's AOP versus Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly and a somewhat injured Adam Cole. He's got bandaged ribs. AOP clears the ring very quickly. They kind of dominate the match early on. They powerbomb Cole through a table on the outside, which essentially makes him a non-player for a lot of the match. There's a powerbomb / neck breaker on O'Reilly by AOP for a near fall. Then O'Reilly applies a submission, but AOP powerbombs someone into him. I forget who it was, but it's one of the Roderick Strong or Pete Dunne. It was cool. Dunne has a really nice little kind of fire run in the middle of it. AOP hits Dunne and O'Reilly with a super collider. They hit a last chapter on O'Reilly, but Strong saves. Then Strong and Dunne hit their finisher on Akam, I think, but Razor saves. Dunne hits his finisher, so all this stuff is happening, and then Dunne is alone in the match in the ring with O'Reilly, who's absolutely destroyed because he hasn't really had a partner for most of the match. And so Dunne hits his finisher on O'Reilly, which is a pump handle type of slam thing. And Strong breaks up the pin. And you go, what's going on here? But you can figure it out pretty quickly. Strong hits end of Heartache on Dunne, and he lays O'Reilly on top of him for the 3 count. So the what are they called? I just forgot what. UE, Undisputed Era. Figured it out. Only took me a minute. Undisputed Era wins. And Strong is obviously has decided to take their offer of joining them. Cole and O'Reilly weren't convinced. I guess he didn't talk to them first, so they weren't convinced. But Cole goes into the ring and he's kind of like, "What's going on here?" And Strong reaches over and pulls off his armband and puts it on, and they kind of celebrate together and pose with Bobby Fish later on. It was a cool kind of. I didn't see it coming. I knew it could have been coming, but I still didn't see it coming. So I thought that was cool. If it wasn't the greatest match ever, but it was a good match with a great twist. So that's all you can ask for, really. And then we have another really good match. So we have Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas. Black hits I called it a golden moonsault because that's what Ibushi does. So it's from the second rope to the outside. Excuse me. The match is kind of dominated by Black until Vega ranas him into some stairs. That's a running theme. You're going to see it. There are 2 hanging arm bars by Almas, but that doesn't really come into play all that much. Almas does a move that he used to do when he was a face, which is he tries to do a moonsault onto Black, who rolls away, and after he lands his moonsault on his feet, he actually hits him with a moonsault off the ground. That's cool. There's a cool little striking exchange where Almas actually gets the best of him, of Black first, but then Black comes back with a big knee. They also have a mirror spot where they hit each other with the exact same move, so like 2 punches to the face, 2 forearms, and then 2 kicks to the head. I thought that was cool. I'm just making sure I don't miss any notes here because this was another big match. So Cien shoves Black out. Oh yeah, so Black goes to do a springboard kind of backflip move, and Cien just shoves him out of the ring, and then he kind of jumps over the ropes onto the second turnbuckle and does this cool spinning dive onto Black. It looked really cool. Then eventually Vega distracts the ref by giving the championship belt to Cien and goes in the back and Spike Ranas Black into the mat for a near fall. Almas tries to do a hammerlock DDT but gets rolled up, and then he takes Black Mass. Vega, he's pretty much out, but Vega puts his foot on the rope to break the count. Vega is interfering throughout this whole thing. Vega also stops Black from doing another dive on the outside by grabbing his foot. This leads to a double stomp by Almas, and then double knees in the corner for a near fall. Almas also drop kicks Black when he's going for Black Mass, so he kind of gets his kick in first, which looked cool. He has Black on the outside against a post, and he gives him double knees against that post, which looked cool. Black hits a Tope Con Hilo? I don't know. Goes back into the ring, but almost actually hits him with his finisher, the hammerlock DDT, but he only gets a near fall. Vega tries to interfere again, and this time finally Black kind of ducks her crossbody, and she lands into Almas's arms, and while he's holding her, Black hits Black Mass onto Almas, and he gets the 3 count. So we have a new NXT champion to go along with the new women's champion. So Aleister Black is the NXT champion now. And then you go like, that was a pretty big match. Could have finished the night, but no, you have a bigger match. So it's Ciampa versus Gargano, and if you thought I was looking at my notes a lot before, just get ready. Ciampa comes out to no music, and we start hearing the chants. The very first chant he gets is an asshole chant, and it's loud. Ciampa mocks Gargano and gets an F-U Ciampa. I'm cleaning my language up. F-U Ciampa chant. Gargano gets they start with a brawl, and Gargano gets the best of it, and the crowd kind of explodes. Really excited about it. They brawl into the crowd at one point. Ciampa is tossed into the announcer's table at one point, and the announcers can't even speak, and the crowd starts a Mamma Mia chant, which I thought was clever. I wrote Gargano thongifies Ciampa, but Ciampa suplexes Gargano off of the table. So they're on the announce table, and he suplexes him onto the floor. It looked kind of brutal. Ciampa takes crutches from a guy that's ringside, and the guy just hops away. Should have sold it more. Should have fallen on the ground. Should have just held on there, but no, he just hops away. Takes the crutches into the ring, but doesn't successfully hit Gargano with it. There's a power bomb. Oh yeah. So at one point, Ciampa had ripped off the mats on the floor to expose the concrete. Gargano manages to power bomb very safely Ciampa onto that exposed concrete. Gargano also hits him with a bunch of crutch shots and hits him with a DDT for a near fall. Ciampa lands a spinning powerbomb thing. I don't know what the move's called. And recreates DIY's finisher, so he does the kind of hands on top thing before they used to do the knee/kick. Gets a near fall out of it. Then there's a Gargano escape. So Ciampa escapes the escape by going for Gargano's eyes. Ciampa hits a knee to the back of Gargano's head for a near fall again. And let's flip the page. So much stuff. Gargano hits his classic kick. Then lawn darts Ciampa into an exposed turnbuckle, and then hits also a recreation of his kick that they used to do in DIY, and still only gets a near fall. This match, some people talk about ROH with near falls and finishing moves and stuff. This felt a little bit like that, but it was cool. There was a lot of fire going on. Ciampa hits a powerbomb into his knees. I don't know what that move is called, but it's cool. He does it from the top rope for a near fall. He removes his knee brace. He tries to knee Gargano, but Gargano uses the knee brace, which was on the ground, and actually attacks Ciampa's knee. Gargano grabs a crutch and goes to hit Ciampa, and Ciampa's kind of sheepishly going like, no. And he basically kind of does this, I can't do this move. So he sits next to Ciampa, and then Ciampa tries to attack him with the knee brace. Gargano avoids it and puts Ciampa in the Gargano escape, but then he quickly transitions into an STF, and he uses the knee brace on Ciampa's face during the STF, and Ciampa taps out. So Gargano gets reinstated. Candice LeRae runs into the ring, and they hug. Everybody in the arena kind of blows up. Everybody's happy except for Ciampa. So much emotion during that match. So many chants by the crowd. Ciampa is a great villain. He does a great job of it in this match. Really strong ending to a really strong pay-per-view, we're going to call it. If I'm giving a number grade, I don't think I can give this any less than, I really hate giving a 10. I'm going to say a 9.5, but it's secretly a 10. This was great. Can't complain. Loved it. I hope that WrestleMania is half as good as this. All right, thanks for watching. We will have more content for you coming up very shortly. I will have a WrestleMania review probably up by Monday morning. All right, thanks again.